This is like a debaterette.
So it's wonderful to come together to celebrate Father Brendan's Golden Jubilee, 50 years of
Father Brendan's the only one I trusted. I wouldn't trust Father Red anyway.
Brendan, I wanted to do it. I wanted to ring you and say I want to do this.
You knew that a rejection was coming. So, 50 years of ordained ministry as priest, and there are three obvious connections that I have with Father Brendan. The first is simply sharing in the same presbytery. The second is our years together as rector and vice rector, and then a successor in the line of, no, not well, you could say that, but in the line of PPs of St Kevin's Hampton Park. And that made me a neighbour, of course, to St Mary's Dandenong, and very dangerous when you've got the former PP so close by. So the same presbytery. Father Brendan caught my attention for taking on big parishes at a time when it wasn't quite common, and so he caught my attention taking on Hampton Park, and at a time when it was still quite new. I think he was PP number 2 at Hampton Park, and so Hampton Park still is a key place there, but the move from Hampton Park to Mill Park, St Francis of Assisi, if anything, it was going from one very big parish to an even bigger parish of Mill Park. And I thought, wow, this guy, he's going to go forward, he's not going to hold back, he's just willing to take it on. To the seminary then, from Mill Park. Well, was it a clean, clear-cut move, transition from Mill Park to the seminary as rector? No, it was not. To the seminary as rector, but to my astonishment, not out of Mill Park and into Corpus Christi College. There was a period of overlap. Somehow, beginning as rector of Corpus Christi College, and still continuing to be PP of Mill Park. I think because Father Anthony Girolami was having a holiday. But all at the same time, it was just extraordinary that he was able to do that. Already, even before his appointment as rector, it was clear that he has a remarkable capacity. Capacity for the big, the large, the challenging. But I was concerned when one of my first encounters with Brendan as we were beginning together as rector and vice rector, and he said, "I'm not a planner." I thought, oh my goodness. I think I know what that means. That was a jolt. He may have got a sense because he just moved from one big appointment to another and to another. So he didn't have time to go and go overseas and spend a bit of time learning the ropes, of what it is to be involved in formation in the seminary. So I undertook to have, and I've probably still got it on my laptop or something, briefing 1. Briefing 2, where I would just sort of go and knock on the door and start a conversation. It wasn't quite the fan, but it was, it was more input. A sharing, but was formative, I hope, at the same time.
It's getting hot.
But the great thing was the companionship that we shared in that time together, and a couple of examples of that even at breakfast time, that he was often way ahead of me in terms of reading the paper and the form guide especially, and being able to tell me that my brothers had whatever horses running, and that Patrick, my nephew, the jockey, what he was riding or not riding, and so that was one thing. Of course, the visits to my office sometime in the latter part of the afternoon to say, I think you're in desperate need of a walk. And I heard that line many a time. Sometimes I would say, no, give me 10 minutes, or no, not today, or whatever. But that was part of the companionship. So far as the parish of Hampton Park is concerned, he is still held in highest esteem by parishioners and fondly remembered. He's still remembered as the priest who always says yes. And that's difficult. Thankfully, there were quite a few PPs in the intervening period. Again, I suppose this speaks of his extraordinary capacity and zeal. And so his invitation for us all to celebrate is, as he said, to celebrate God's blessings received. And written into this invitation to celebrate in thanksgiving to God, there's mention of the life he loves despite its ups and downs. And that is the life of being a pastoral priest, being the pastor. He just loves it, and he goes to it so well and doesn't hold back. There's no reserve. And he quotes Teddy Roosevelt, the man in the arena, one in the midst of it all, who strives valiantly. And there's acknowledgement of failures at the same time, through it all, part of it all. And Father Brendan doesn't hold back from that. He'll say, look, I'll make mistakes. He said that to me at the beginning. I'll make mistakes, that will happen. And I'm reminded of the great coach and devout Catholic, John Kennedy, and his famous Do Something speech in 1975. It was a little bit after your ordination, but I was thinking that the timing of your ordination, I was probably in attendance as a first-year seminarian. But this John Kennedy was coaching Hawthorn in the grand final that year. And at half-time, he was urging all the players with tremendous passion and vigour to do something. If you can find it, the audio, do something. And he was just urging the players on, and you could say, at least, you could say, I did something. I did something. I shepherded. I played on. Do something. And so this is a well-known speech. And if he could have, he would have got them there to win the grand final all by himself. But they lost. It's the speech that's remembered, but not the fact that they lost the grand final. So this captures the effort of striving valiantly, I think, and something deep in Father Brendan's nature and spirit, blessed by God, with a great pastoral heart and capacity. Always willing to do something, and always prepared to have a go. We celebrate with you in Thanksgiving today at Multos Annos, so for the many years to come, and may God's blessings be with you into the future. Your glass is charged, Peter, or could get them charged. We toast you, Father Brendan. Congratulations, well done, good and faithful.
About 20 pages. Now, thanks, Father Des. As you know, Father Des ran the seminary. I was the figurehead. You knew that because I knew nothing about it. And as he said there, I'm a parish priest. I'm happy to be a parish priest. I love being a parish priest. And you are my parish. And I'm the only one in Australia who could say everyone went to Mass every day, except the 100 viewers that year. And you had to go to Father Des to report yourself. And you enjoyed that so much. You're a failure. To be told off by you was something they look forward to. Now, there are two. Most of my life, I'm an ordinary bloke, I'm an ordinary parish priest, but I did two extraordinary things. I had time in Africa. Oh, here he is. And I told him actually, he's been a rector of the seminary. He's got a parish now as big as Belgium, enormous, all these outstations and doing wonderful things. I've kept in contact. And now he's been asked to run the Catholic University. It's just in a bit of trouble. And he'll do that. So we've kept in contact. But that was a wonderful time in my life. And I come from a little village. He comes from the same village. He brought me this shirt. And there's a parish church there built by the missionaries. And it's falling down. He's trying to get it, well, they might have to build a new one now. It's over 100 years old. But that place in Moloney was a wonderful time in my life. The other wonderful time was in the seminary. And now I have a bond with all of you because there's something about a seminary that gives you a bond. I don't know what it is. You get a bond in a concentration camp. It's not a concentration camp, but we're living and sharing a life. And I don't know, I think about that bond that we have, and some guys you get on with, some guys you don't get on with, but you have a bond with them still, and memories and all that sort of thing. So it was a wonderful time, and we had a wonderful staff there. Father Des, Brian Boyle couldn't be here, Cameron was there for a little while, Tim, who else was there? Who's else on there? Ed. And Ed! He made Ed. We got the same sense of humour. Now when I got there it was a miserable place. I don't know who was here when I got there. And it was closed mined, and you had two lines of defence. You had the outer gates and the inner gates. I said, we don't need all those. We've got 50 or 60 young fellas, you can look after yourself. So we'll open the gates and open our minds and open our hearts. And I thought the other thing is it's our home. Let's make it our home. Let's enjoy it and love our home here. This is our home. It's a great home, really. Terrific place. Lovely location, isn't it? Best location in Melbourne, really. The other thing is all we've got to offer God is ourselves. And that's what I told you. That's all you got. So show us who you are. And a redeemed self, I hope. But, and if it's meant for you, you'll get through. If it's not meant for you, you won't get through. But there was no pressure. Take all that pressure off. So that's, report yourself if you're sleeping and all this stuff. You know, grow up. It's not a boarding school. It's a seminary. It's for training a priest. So it was a wonderful, wonderful time, and I was privileged to be there. And I could see who God was raising up. I was amazed when I looked amongst you and see, look, there's some brilliant people here, but most of us are ordinary. And there's foot soldiers, but there's future leaders as well. God has given us all that. He's given us each other. And I wanted this night tonight because I've been through the mill. You know, I've had my successes, I've had my failures. And I know after a few years, the glamour wears off and it gets hard. And a lot of you are going through that stage now. And I just wanted you to get together. There's no reason. So I'm the excuse for you to get together. So don't go home. There's plenty of grog there. You've got a few bedrooms there if you like those. And let's have a good night tonight. Now, I've had 10 moves. If you can see that list, I've had to keep ahead of the police. So there's 10 moves there. But when I leave a place, I try to leave it. People said, you missed the seminary. I don't miss the seminary. But it's not because the seminary was bad, because I move on to the next thing. But what I did enjoy very much was listening to you sing at evening prayer. I remember all of you came in, you couldn't sing. So we got those coaches to teach. Even Seminary can hold a note. He was tone deaf. And I've got one hymn printed off that I love to hear, especially the Vietnamese trying to say the word garish. They haven't got a clue what it means. Pass these around. And but it's a beautiful hymn.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And I can tell you, saying evening prayer on my own doesn't match having evening prayer with you.
Some more copies here if you want.
Suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in ac lacrimarum vale. Ea ergo, advocata nostra, illos tuos, misericordes oculos, ad nos converte. Et Iesu, benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilium ostende. O clemens, o pia, o dulcis Virgo Maria.
Thank you very much. Now, I didn't acknowledge the presence of the Archbishop here. And Archbishops always like to have the last word. I don't know whether you... They have the last word, whether they...
Here's the last word. Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Now we're going to cut a cake, and there's plenty of dessert here, but there's a lot of sausages here. Father Ruddy will be eating these for a week.
No.
They had a cake with my picture on yesterday. I had to stab myself in the heart. I don't know how we're going to eat this. How do we smash it?
Just one each at a time. We'll get the rest of the dessert out as well.
And listen, we've got to thank these marvellous ladies for all their done. I don't know. I haven't got it.
Do you need some scissors? Here you go. Father, scissors.
Steady. Oh, go. Well, it's hard work. Thank you.